How you guys doing? Hi. I'm going to be talking to you about survey. Not just survey, but the general idea of customer loyalty. What do we do with that? What does that mean? And I'm going to show you, this is the big thing, taking data from a survey and doing something with it. So a lot of companies, they get these surveys, they spend all this work. What is a customer loyalty survey? What are we trying to measure? How do we measure it? And then they get the data and they think they've won. They did it. They have all this data. But they don't have anything to do with this data. So they don't have any plan after that, right? They see, okay, people, they love our company. Excellent. We've done it. But there's more you can do from there to keep people loving your company. And when people don't love your company, instead of saying, they don't like us, well, give them coupons, right? There has to be better ways to go about doing this whole thing. So I'm going to show you some of those and give you an idea of what you should be doing with this data once you get it. But first I want to talk about customer loyalty in a general sense. So loyal customers are as important as new ones. Now the typical business idea of we get the customers, we hoard the customers, bring in the new customers, always new customers. And once you're in there, it's like, all right, we have them, we add them to our spreadsheet or our list or our CRM, whatever it is, we add that number a little bit, and now we've done it, we've completed it. Is not the best way to go about things. Sure, you need new customers, you need new blood coming in, that's important. But a loyal customer is as important, and I mean, personally, I would say almost more important than the new customer, because the loyal customer brings in the new customers. So, to give you a basic idea of why you want to go after loyal customers, beyond the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts of these things, customer acquisition cost very high, right? It's extremely expensive to get a new customer for a lot of companies, a lot of businesses. You're spending a lot of money just per user. Customer retention costs are very low. That's just how these things work, right? It's much easier to keep a customer than it is to do the marketing, to do the legwork, to get the salespeople to move out there and finally make a single sale. Once you have them, they're in there, and they're much more likely to buy than a new customer is. So loyalty program registration is also up. People tend to like these loyalty programs. So I go get boba tea sometimes, and they give me the punch card, and they say, okay, I punched it. Once you get 10 punches in this card, once you buy 10 boba teas, you get half off a single drink. And I say, this is a terrible program, but I will be back. You have me. So the idea that these things are popular, even if they don't always directly serve the consumer right away, is not a radical one. You see them spreading, and certainly some are about as useful as the boba tea card that I hold in my wallet, and some are a bit more useful, like mileage when you're flying, for example. That's fly around the world twice and we'll let you hop to the city next to you for free. Some are like that, some are a little more lenient. But people like these things. They feel like they're getting value, they're getting something for free. So your best customers, your best marketers. Another reason that I touched on briefly why a loyal customer is much more valuable than a new one across the board. So if I have a great customer and they love me and I love working for them and it's a good relationship, they're going to tell their friends and family about me. So, for example, I was recently looking for shorts because it's about to get very hot in this area. And I don't have a lot of shorts. I typically don't like shorts. So I'm looking for shorts, and I saw this video of a person with shorts on. I spent a lot of time figuring out what shorts these were because I like the shorts he had on. So I got what I thought were pretty close to these shorts, and then I went to this website, and I went in the live chat. They had a live chat there, and I said, hey, I'm going to ask you a weird thing. Do you know what these shorts are in this link? And he said, send me the link. I sent him the link. He said, oh, those are our shorts. You're actually right. We have a deal with this person. He's a music video. We have a deal with this person, and they're part of the crew. And I said, how do I get to be part of the crew? They said, you just buy, and then you're part of the crew. I knew he was lying to me because that's not true, but he made the point, right? And he made the sale. I got the shorts. Turns out they were too small. I sent them back. It's been a whole terrible process now, but I'm still telling you about it because I'm still hyped for these shorts. And the customer service was good. The guy called me a legend. He gave me a coupon code. It was great. And I'm a loyal customer. The company's called Xanarobi, and you should go shop with them. See, it works. Now, the acquisition cost, I don't know what the acquisition cost was for them to get the shorts on this guy in this music video so that I could see them, and then the marketing and the ads when I Googled what are these shorts and all that stuff. That's a whole different thing. But now that they have me, I'm much more likely to tell people about these things, which is why I'm here now. I mean, I even told my coworker Dylan, I came to work and I was so hyped about this. It's a very lame thing to be excited about, but sometimes you just like some shorts. So, best marketers are your customers, happy customers. So, when we're trying to figure out, okay, so we know these things are givens, right? It's cheaper to get a customer that's loyal to buy again. It's 5 to 7 times cheaper, actually, depending on what stat you look at. But what are we looking for? So who are our loyal customers? Why do they like us? These are things we want to know. And how do we make our customers like us that much? So these are the things you want to ask and answer with customer loyalty surveys. And in general, you should know when you're serving customers. So to find these things out, we have to measure a few specific things. So these are the questions, right? Whenever we send out a customer loyalty survey, these are the questions we want to answer. The overall customer satisfaction. So are people liking us in general as a business? Do they like what we're doing? Do they like how they're interacting with us? The future purchase likelihood. So are you going to do business with us again? Typically, if someone's already a customer, they likely will. And the likelihood to recommend. So this is called NPS. So likelihood to recommend is a big one. I made this little graph to help explain it. So you're going to ask these people, what's the likelihood that you recommend us to a friend, colleague, family member, whatever, someone you know that has eyes, a mouth. And you'll give them a 1 through 10 that they can rate themselves on. So anyone in the 1 through 6 range here, they're considered detractors. They're people that are not necessarily going to say anything good about you. Just we will separate them from the pack. Your 7 to 8 are your passives. This is probably where most people exist with most businesses. If you aren't bad on them, you're not excited about them. Like, I shop at Winco because it's very cheap. It's a bad experience. It's a parking lot. It's bright in there. It's too big, but stuff is cheap. But am I ever going to be like, go to Winco, it's so good, you're going to love it? No. It's a bad place, but the prices are good. So I'm passive. I'm not mad at them. It's fine. But 9 to 10, these are your promoters. These are the people you want to segment separately from these other 2 groups, right? So these are the people, if you were to reach out to them, they would very likely recommend you to a friend, family, colleague. So I would be a promoter of the place that sells these shorts. Zenrobi, go buy it. And they've earned it. Like, they had a great support process. They gave me a good coupon code. It was a good thing. But now that I have these numbers, the idea is, okay, I know who my promoters are. Do I just expect them, okay, good, you're a promoter, to go out there and spread the word about these shorts? No, they should be targeting me with ads. They should be doing something with this data. It's all about using that insight that's gained. Okay, so once you have this survey, which you want to be a pretty specific, you want to get a few specific things. You want to answer those questions, those who, those whys, those hows. Once you get that information, what do you do with it? So I'm going to show you, I'm going to go into survey now. And I don't want to lose some of you while I'm doing this because it's a little, I'm going to hop between products. I know, for example, you're very new. So I'm going to try, if I'm losing people, just let me know. Because it's not going to get too complex, but I will be going between a few different things. And I'll try and keep everything kind of under one roof for you all. Don't be alarmed. This is survey. Now, some of you are saying, wow, this looks like survey software. So, to give you a little overview of what we're looking at here, you have the My Surveys tab. That's where all your surveys are listed here. So I have one that's already made. And then I have the Create a Survey tab. You'll notice I also have the Create Survey button over here. They do the same thing. So I can click either one. I'm going to go with the green one because it's, colors. People love colors. So, all right, can we see this? Is that good? Yeah, it's good. All right, so a few things here. Under this tab, Create Survey, we have a few sub-tabs. Blank Survey, Template, and Existing Survey. Blank Survey, what do you think that is? That's a blank survey. I don't want to talk about it. So template, these are templates we have. And then we have a bunch of different templates here. You can take these and use these as a base and then alter them and edit them. So a lot of times, for example, I was giving a demo of Desk earlier, and we do a bunch of pre-built reports. A lot of times companies don't really know the questions to ask or the reports to make because they just aren't sure of their business process all the time. It happens. A lot of businesses don't know their business process that much. So we try and give you an idea of these things and things to build off of here. And then, of course, you have existing surveys. So this is useful if you're a company that sends out surveys for different purposes and you don't want to remake them every single time. You can go in here in the existing survey, see all the ones you've made previously. So, for example, attendee satisfaction LA, that's the one you saw earlier. And you can take it and edit it and resend it and build off of it. But for our purposes, we're going to make a blank survey. I'm going to name this survey NPS survey. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be making an NPS survey asking the main question, which I went over, which is, what is the likelihood you would recommend us to a friend, family, colleague, whatever. And then I'm going to add a few little things on there, like logic within a survey. A meaningful thing about NPS surveys, a lot of companies actually don't do that well on NPS surveys. Like the standard changes by industry. So for example, and I will continue dumping on Comcast because they're a bad company. I did it in the last session. The session before me happened. It happens in this session. Their score's probably very low. But that industry standard is also probably very low because no one's figured out how to give people internet without making people mad. People get mad on the internet. People get mad when you give them the internet. It's just it's an angry place. So this is the NPS survey. Here are the questions we can add, right? So we have a bunch of different options here. Question types, rather. Multiple choice, we know these. We've taken tests and such. We've been to schools. This is A, B, C. Which one do you want? Multiple choice. You can choose multiple. A bunch of different things here. Email text box. So we're actually going to start with this one. So this is just a single line field, but it has special formatting so that if somebody doesn't put in at whatever.com address, it'll throw an error. So we're going to start with that one. So the question, email. What is your email? Answer mandatory because we don't want people to submit this without answering this. 30 characters, sure, whatever. Save. All right, so that's the first thing on our survey, right? Right away, we want to know what people's email address is. So after that, we actually have an NPS field here. So click that, it adds it. Question text. What is the likelihood you recommend us to your friends / family? No more slash, just rented it there. Question mark. All right. Answer mandatory. We want them to answer this. Obviously, it's the whole point of the survey. And the labels. So it's a scale, remember, 0 to 10. So 0, not likely. 10, very likely. Pretty simple. Okay, so here's where we start moving to the idea of we need to do something with this information once we have it. We don't just want to ask people and roll with it and be like, well, people do or don't like us. We want to work with this data. Otherwise, it's useless. So we're going to build in a little bit of logic. So to do that, we have an essay question. And we're going to build these questions out and then attach them so that if somebody puts a low number on the scale, they're going to be thrown this and say, well, what did we do wrong? If they put a high number, we say, well, what do you like about what we did? What can we improve? So first, I'm just going to make these questions. It should not be a capital letter. So what can we improve? And what did you like about our service? Which sounds like a business sentence. Okay. So once we go to this here, you can see also we can add pages. So the idea behind pages in surveys is if you've ever filled out a survey, you've had a bad time probably because you were filling out a survey. So you should make them as short as possible. You don't want, like I've loaded up surveys. I've been so mad at companies. Yes, my life is exciting. I order shorts and I get mad at companies. I've been so mad at companies, I take a survey and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to flame you guys on this survey. It's going to feel great. And then it loads and there's like 15 questions. And I think, am I this upset? And I say yes and I fill it out. But I'm even more upset by the end of it, typically. Ideally, they can make it a few questions and maybe I'm not as angry by the end of it. So you can have multiple pages just so that, well, we want to ask this person 6 questions. That's kind of a lot for survey standards oftentimes if you want someone to reliably fill it out. So you can add a page, throw 3, add another page, throw 3 more. You're just breaking it up to make people feel like they're not engaged in this massive survey. So down here you can see add question logic. So if-then statements. Has anyone ever programmed? Once? Twice? Yeah, a few times? All right. So an if-then statement is just if this happens, then this is the result. So if we're doing this, then do this. So select question. If What is the likelihood you recommend us to your friends and family? Is less than 9. Because you remember, we have 1 through 6, those are passives. Those are people that we don't want, they aren't going to advocate for us. We want them to be customers. We want to improve that relationship, and I'll show you some ways to do that. But they just aren't going to advocate for us. So if they're less than 9, so this includes passives and detractors, then show question. What can we improve? So we'll save that. We can preview it. So this doesn't look very good. We fixed in the new UI. We made surveys less survey-like. So you see this box here. What do you like about our service is there because we didn't add question logic. We would add question logic if greater than 8, 9 through 10, then we want to know, well, what do you like about our service? This is how we start collecting the data to improve what we're doing. But if I recommend I put a 6, we see that what can we improve box. So the logic is working. We get it. I'm not going to add the logic to this question just to save some time. Okay. So we're going to move forward, right? This is good enough. This is what we're working with right now. Settings. Here you can edit. You can do the white labeling. So if you want to send out a survey and make it look like something your company actually made and endorses, you can add your labels. You can change the company color, stuff like that. So here's a big one. So default termination. When they finish the survey, where do you want them to go? So if they hit submit, they're hitting a link, and you should take advantage of that opportunity to serve them something else, to take them back to your website or give them a thank you page that gives a coupon, something like that. You have a bunch of different options. Custom end page, redirect to a new page. This could redirect back to your website. You have several things you can do there. Themes. This is where you can make things prettier. You have some options that are just standard, but you also have customizable themes, and here you can get pretty in-depth, pretty nitty-gritty. Same thing in the new UI, but the tools are a little bit better. And deploy. So we're going to publish this survey. Remember, you always have to publish. Even if you have this survey and you're going to be sending it an email, you have to publish it to get the link. So we hit publish. Oh, we have the link now. Look at that. Okay. So here's where I'm going to start switching around with some things. I'm going to switch between CRM and campaigns and survey. But I'm going to walk you through it. So integration, that's the tab we're on now. We're looking at Zoho CRM integration. What we want to do is we want to take this NPS data, because remember, we're not asking what do you think of our company if they haven't worked with us before. So we're only asking customers this, not random people. So we're taking this data, and we want to associate it with people in our CRM. So these people would be contacts. So that's a module that we're associating the data to. Continue. Okay. So now we're continuing to build this integration. So we're starting down here, action type, add record, update record, or add/update record. Remember, we're not asking non-customers what they think of our company because they don't matter. They haven't interacted with us before. We don't know that they have any real feelings based on any fact of dealing with us. We're only dealing with customers. So we're updating records. We're not adding any records. We're not adding new people. This is the type of thing that you would send out in an email, not just post on a forum and say, what do you guys think of us? We want to know what customers think of us. So we're going to update record. Last name, we're going to leave it blank. We don't need that. So select the CRM field. Now, this is because I've integrated survey with my CRM account. It's pulling fields from my CRM account and placing them here. So, for example, I've chosen the email field in the contacts module. So within CRM, you have a few different modules, different places where you're storing and dealing with data. Within the contacts module, you have different fields. I've chosen the email field, and I'm attaching that to the what is your email field in survey. So whatever they put in that box, it's going to put in the what is in the email field within CRM. So we're just transferring the data over so that we can use this and contact them at a later date. So whatever they put in there, if they put wow at wow.com, it's going to find that in CRM and link up that data. So add another one here. So this is where we need the NPS number. So remember, what is the likelihood you recommend us? It's 1 through 10. We need a place in CRM to store that. Now, CRM doesn't have that field built in. So that means we have to go into CRM and make what's called a custom field. So I'm going to go into CRM. Is everyone ready? I'm going to switch tabs, switch products. I don't want to lose anybody. Is anyone confused? We're doing all right? Okay. Boom, I'm in CRM. Okay. So up here, so you know where I am. Let me see if I can zoom. Okay, so these are the modules, right? Set up, and then this is where the data will be displayed from the module you choose. So I need to make a custom field. So I'm going to go to Setup, Modules, and that is just a list of all the modules in my CRM, and then to Contacts. All right, so in the Contact module, these are all the fields that I have in there. These are all standard fields, except for these two. I don't know if you can tell here, but they're kind of brown. Can you see that? Kind of brown, kind of red? That's because they're custom fields. So you see I've actually already put an NPS field in here. It's nothing fancy. I just put a number, got a number field, dropped it in here, and renamed it NPS. I've chosen a number field because this will never be anything but a number, and I don't want some other junk data to get in there. Remember, NPS is always 1 through 10, so there's no, like, I'd recommend, like, it's not an essay, right? We just want people to choose a number. So much like Rachel Ray does in the kitchen, she gets the turkey, she cooks the turkey, and then once the show starts, she says, look at this turkey, I've made this. There's a duck in there. There's a chicken in that duck. There's some racism inside all of that. No, that's Paul, what is it? Paula Dean. I was going to say Paul Ryan, which is also here. So we have this field here, right? I have already built this because I already built this integration so that at the end of this thing, I have something more tangible to show you. So we're going to keep that for now. And now when we go back to our survey, the CRM fields here, you see there's an NPS field. And you will have to, if you're at this screen and you go make a custom field in CRM, you'll have to refresh this screen so that it pulls a new list from your CRM. But we now see the custom field that was just made, NPS, is right there. So now that we have that hooked up, go ahead, save. All right, save. So survey integrated with CRM successfully. Now, whenever people fill out this survey, that data that they put in there is going to sync with their contact inside of CRM. So now we have these customers, and when we send them the survey, we're getting a feel for what they think of us. But how do we send this? We have a question. NPS, Net Promoter Score. Did I mention that? If not, I apologize. So Net Promoter Score, it's just a way of saying, do they like you? But it's a business word. I don't know. Net Promoter Score. It's very common. Like if you Google NPS, you're going to get all sorts of people's opinions on what it is and how to do it and stuff. It's actually a relatively new, like several years, but relatively new concept. So, like I said, we're now getting this information from survey, this data, and we're mapping it into CRM where our customers already exist. So we're getting that info, but we need a way to not only send this survey, but also to act on this survey data once we get it. So for that, I'm going to switch products again. You ready? Are we okay? Okay. It's a new product. We're in campaigns. All right. So everyone's together here. I'm going to zoom in for you. Okay. So we're at the home screen. These are a few different options up here, but the only one we care about right now is email campaigns because we want to build an email campaign to send this survey out, and then we'll actually also want email campaigns to appropriately respond to and market toward the people depending on their score. So for now, we're building an email campaign just to send the survey out. So once you hit email campaigns, advanced campaign menu here, survey campaigns, and I've already integrated this with my CRM and with survey. All right, so we're going to name, we're now building an email campaign. It's nothing fancy. So NPS campaign. Now here, because I've already integrated it, you can see the two surveys. Remember the one we just built, NPS survey, and the one that was already there? So obviously we want the NPS survey. Subject. What do you think of us? Something like that. Leave all this stuff alone. Create content. So now this takes you to a screen where you're building it. You're building the graphics, the copy, changing the words and such. We don't need to edit any of this, so we're going to hit save and close. It's going to move us on to the next step, which is that the campaign has been made successfully. Right, that's all we need to know. We don't really need to edit any of this stuff. This is just giving us a preview of what we've made. We didn't change anything there. Okay, so now we're going to hit recipients. So here, it gives us a bunch of different options for who we want to send it to. And we've already made, this is something that was pre-made here. I don't know if Taylor got to go into this too much, but the idea is that we have a segmented list of people that we're calling NPS users. So they are actually event attendees. So this one is, I'll get into this in a minute, but right now we're just choosing event attendees because that's what we have made a segment for. In the people that fill out our survey, I did the Rachel Ray thing where I made this beforehand so we didn't have to go through the whole process of making that. If you want to see that whole lengthy process, just the little nitty gritty of this, we can go over that after this. We want to just take it during the reception. So I'm sending this to all event attendees. So anyone that came and filled this out, proceed. And then we can schedule this to send, and I'm not actually going to send it right now, but I would hit this button, send immediately. It would spin, and it would send this out. So now we've sent this to all the people within CRM that we've marked it to be sent to. So they have all this, right? We're gathering all this data now. So the idea being, hit home now. Now that we have this sent out, so now we're getting scores, right? People are filling this out. Now where's that data going to be stored? CRM, correct. I heard someone say it. So we're going to go back to CRM. We're in CRM. Everyone's fine. So now we're back in CRM. You see the modules up here. And we can go into contacts. Yes, leave page. So up here, once again, like the Rachel Ray, I've now made a filter, a simple filter, it's nothing complicated, to filter out all the people that do not have an NPS rating in here. So if we had just built that survey and sent it out, and now people have taken it, we now see, because all these people are in our CRM, remember, this is something we want to send to customers. We want to know what they think of us, not random people. We now only see contacts that have an NPS score associated with them. So any contact that hasn't taken the survey, didn't open it, whatever, they're not here. We have a very specific group of people that we can now deal with. And this is where it turns. This is where a lot of companies don't actually do what they should be doing, which is using this to market specifically or to contact these people specifically for a bunch of different things. If someone's an advocate, for example, a 9 or 10, you want to reach out to that person and maybe ask for a testimonial, get more information on what you're doing well, offer them a loyalty reward program like a terrible boba tea card. This is where you're actually contacting the people that can help you out and you have a good relationship with them. Moving forward now, again, just to reset us, we have this data. We need to do something with it now. We know who likes us. We know who doesn't like us. We know who almost likes us, is passive but not an advocate. How can we reach out to them specifically? For that, a great tool for that is within campaigns, we know what segments are. Who's probably here for Taylor, saw some of that. So you're going to build a segment, which just means a specific group of people within all your contacts. And we're going to use those people that fit a certain criteria and send a specific email to them. So, group of people, everyone in my email contacts, these people love me. That's my segment. I only want to send this email to them. I can do that. Yes, list management under contact. Didn't see that on the screen. Okay. So from there, we can go to customers. So there's just a list of people, right? And they were already separated between just leads and customers. And remember, we're only asking customers what they think of us. So we're now going into the subsection of customers and looking for segments. There it is. So now these are segments within a list. So these are a specific group of people. Again, the Rachel Ray sort of thing. I already built out a criteria to separate people. So the criteria being, if the attendee NPS is greater than 8, so if these people are my advocates, I will send them an email. So I'm not going to send this email, this specific email, to anyone lower than a 9. I don't want to worry about them right now. I reach out to them in a different way. Like, I don't want to be offering, for example, a rewards program to somebody that doesn't like me. That's not going to do anything for them or for me. I should be speaking to these people differently because they feel differently about my company. I don't want to just blast them all with the same messaging. It wouldn't make sense for me to do. It's going to waste their time, and it's probably not going to improve your relationship with them if they see that you're just spamming them with emails that are irrelevant to them. So that's one way how you can edit this data and move it through these different programs, these different softwares for your benefit. So some things. So once you know they like you, so once you know they're a 9 to a 10, here's some things you can do within those emails. You can direct them to Yelp to review you. That's very, very popular, right? I know whenever I'm looking for a place to eat, I usually go to Yelp first. Get them to review you on Yelp, so send them a link. Say, hey, we're really glad you like us. Would you mind reviewing us? If they're an advocate, they're likely to do that. Ask them to do testimonials. Send them loyalty program info. Remember the Boba card. Ask them to join your mailing list. And all this stuff, because they're an advocate for you, they're likely to do these things for you because they want to have that relationship with you. And if they know that you're already thinking about who they are and their thoughts on your company, they're willing to work with you. Ask them to engage with you on social media, so follow me, whatever it may be. There's a pizza place I live down the block from. I follow their Instagram because they post good pictures of pizza. I'm a man who likes a good photo of a pizza every now and then. So once you know they're passive, so these are the people that almost like you, right? The way we feel about a lot of companies that we just kind of deal with day to day, we don't really think too hard about. We don't really feel any type of way about them. Offer them loyalty program info to drive them to you. So you can say, okay, you're cool with dealing with me. What if I gave you a little bit more value? Because this is what we're trying to do all the time. Drive value so that these people are more interested in working with you. Pay attention to your survey responses. Respond appropriately. This is very important. So again, you're not blasting these people with messages that would only make sense for people that dislike you or like you a whole lot. You're reaching out to these people because remember, we've built in that question logic. And we said, okay, if you feel okay on us, if you're below an advocate, what could we do to make you happier? You can work with them on a person-to-person basis there. Offer more value is the key one, right? And that's going to be true of all of these levels. And if they dislike you, this one's a little bit more tricky because the key is just responding appropriately. If they dislike you, you know why. You built in the logic to find out why. If they dislike you, the thing that matters is not that they dislike you, but it's why they dislike you. And that's the information you need to go forward. Identify who can and can't be helped. So maybe if in that why box they say, well, I'm a crazy person and I just don't like pizza and shorts and that's all bad, then okay, that we can't work with that person. Don't spend time trying to chase after this person that you may have burned really badly in the past, or they're outwardly stating that there's just no chance you can ever get them. Work with people that are reasonable. And address concerns that can reasonably be dealt with. The pizza shorts guy, don't work with him. Question creation tips. So I'm just going to run through these really quick. Don't have a lot of time. Ask one thing at a time. General survey questions. Ask one thing at a time. So don't ask a bunch of different things in one question like, do you like us? And if so, what would you say is your favorite thing about us? And then give them an essay box where they have to type, yes, and by the way, my favorite thing is your shorts. You don't need to do that. Use yes or no questions. So keep them as straightforward as possible. Keep response options simple. This ties into this yes or no. But even if it's not a yes or no question, try and just give them specific responses. And if you're going to give them more open-ended input, build in logic for that. So that if they say, like if you give them a yes or no or other, have them hit other and then fill something out. Because oftentimes people just revert to the other. People like to get through things quickly, but they also like to be understood. So you want to give them the option to do both of those at the same time. All right, so that's all. I hope that was informative. I know we kind of jumped between a few things. Thank you.